Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of BattleTech. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today as we acquire a new ship. It's called the Argo, and I think we're gonna get an upgrade to things. Also, I think I'm gonna have a new NPC, so let's see what happens. For right now though, Kamea Aranu, the High Lady Kamea Aranu, has something to tell us in the courtyard.
People of the Oregon Reach, I am Kamea Arano, and I have failed you. For 3 long years, Director Espinosa has imprisoned and starved and murdered our people. And where was I? Hiding in a palace, light years away, building support, planning. While the Directorate's secret police turned neighbor against neighbor, made your loved ones disappear, conscripted your children. I wasn't here. I didn't know. The crimes that I have witnessed here today are unforgivable. No doubt, Director Espinosa believes that the ends justify the means, that the Oregon Reach has been made strong. Well, I say that strength built on fear is brittle. The Directorate is a paper tiger, and I declare this restoration today to rally the true strength of our people, our resilience, and our freedom. Let Weldry be a call to arms. Join us, and together we will liberate the founding houses and retake Cormadir. Not because it is my birthright, but because the Directorate's crimes against you, the Oregon people, will no longer be tolerated. That is what I fight for, and I vow to fight for your freedoms to my dying breath.
Okay, so I did not... Oh... Did you notice half ship apparently will travel? Oh, hi, it's her. Oh yeah, she's a doctor that was fixing the Argo. Finally. Oh, that's maybe the new. No, it wasn't. Was it? Lady Arano told us that there was going to be some. I think it was Alexander that was going to join us. Maybe she's going to join us as well. But did you notice how she said, "I'm not fighting for my birth. Rather, I'm not fighting because it is my birthright." That is in clear, that's a clear change from the beginning of the game. She was very specifically about her birthright. So she was pissed about, having been stolen her birthright, which is very frail and whatever. But of course, it's no justification for a coup d'etat. But still, it being a frail excuse, it's not a justification for a coup d'etat. But still, it's interesting what she says about the state of that prison, the icebox. I really felt that we weren't told, last episode in specific, that we weren't shown what exactly was going there. When she says, "You haven't seen what I saw. This is sign of their inhumanity, and this is just all terrible." And I'm like, well, they had a few prisoners, political prisoners specifically. I mean, yeah, they're tyrants. What do you expect? It's like, I mean, you knew from the get-go that they were political prisoners. What inhumanity did you see that you didn't know about before? But I get the impression that there was more than that over there, but we were not shown that. And I think that's a failed opportunity because it for the player, specifically because I'm pretty sure we can't not fight for Lady Arano. It's the campaign, that's how we fight, that's the game. I feel that for the player it would be much better to just see a cutscene of just all the terrible things that they did. Just maybe not even the terrible things, just suggestion and just sort of letting the player know what's going on. But we didn't get that, which is, yeah, like I sort of have to deduce now. So Dr. Farad Murad over here, an engineer. Are you an engineer or are you a doctor? Come on, can you be both? I don't think you can. Well, I mean, I guess you can. Just the engineers aren't doctors; they're engineers, right? Right? It's like that here in Portugal, anyway. Anyway. Hello again, my mercenary friends, she says. Before you officially take possession of the Argo, I wanted to introduce myself in person. We never really got a chance to meet properly on Axilus. Yeah, that's right. That's the name of the planet that we have, where we've collected the Argos. So, hi. I'm Dr. Farad Murad, or just Farah, if you prefer. And it's nice to meet you all face to face, because before we were in mechs. Yeah, Doc, you too. I'm gonna call you Doc, by the way. You should probably go ahead and get used to it. It was impressive work you did, getting the Argo flying. Between you and me, I had my doubts, says Yang. Honestly, I did too. You should have seen what the Argo's interior looked like after a couple of 100 years of pirate occupation. Actually, I take that back. If you've seen what I saw, you'd never have wanted to set foot inside. Take it from me, the ship has been deloused from bow to stern, and every meter of her has been hosed down with industrial-grade disinfectant. This ship is clean enough to eat off of. I swear it. I lost a friend today. Well, that's one way of looking at it. That's not going to be the way I look at it in particular. Having grown up, having a character that grew up as an exile and what's the gladiator? That's the one that I was trying to think of the name for the warriors. As a gladiator, I think loss is something that my character has already learned to deal with, and without actually trying to criticize anyone, I think somebody that is used to loss, I think would have considered Magi. What was his name? The guy that we lost, as we saw last episode. I think that somebody like that would have already considered him gone. So this was just confirmation. So I'm not gonna go with that, but yeah, let's see. Thanks, Farah. I'm sure we all appreciate it. I'm pleased to hear it, she says, and I'm glad we're getting off on the right foot. It isn't every day that you get to introduce your new crewmates to the ship you just rebuilt. New crewmates? Hang on a second, this is... Wait a minute. Oh, what I wanted to ask is if she was the one... I thought... yeah, Madeira... So, yeah, they're both joining us. Madeira is over here. I guess they're both Madeira. Are they both Madeira? No, Oliveira over here. Madeira is this guy, and that's Alexander. And, yeah, so they're both the new crew members. Hear that, Yang? We're finally getting a shipboard engineer. That's good, because I don't have a clue about how anything on this boat works. Frankly, I'm amazed that Dr. Murad managed to get her flying at all. Well, I'm still a little amazed myself, she says. Only a little, because I'm very good at what I do, but it was kind of a touch and go there for a while. Oh, and Darius... I'm sorry about all the shouting back on Axilus. As it turns out, getting shot at by pirates puts me on edge. No hard feelings? Well, none at all, he says. Keep this beast flying and you can yell at me as much as you want. Hell, I'm used to it. Welcome to the family. You too, Lord Madeira. I never imagined we'd be working together, but I'm glad to have the opportunity. As I am, Mr. Oliveira. Over the years of our exile, Lady Arano told me a great deal about you and your company. All of it is good. Even before the event of the coup... or the events of the coup, she knew about Markhan's marauders. Your assistance in her father's Fjaldr campaign did not go unnoticed. That is a planet, most likely. A Kaplan colony world. Yes, it is. It was a job, Lord Madeira, says Darius. We only did what High Lord Tamati paid us to do. Still, it feels good to be appreciated and to know that someone out there still remembers Commander Markhan's name. Let's see, you'll... be a welcome addition aboard the Argo. Being remembered is the best that any mercenary can hope for. Well, no, it's not. Well, suppose there's other things that might be best. This is all very heartwarming, but I want to see my ship. Yeah, let's go with that. Of course, Commander Sunwielder. Quite right. You remember Lady Arano's orders? While you wait for her call, you are to sharpen your company and grow strong. And now that you have a mobile command center worthy of the title, I suggest that you use it. That's Darius. I'll get you a fresh batch of contracts to look over, Vic. The whole Rimward periphery is our oyster now. We won't be limited by debt or travel restrictions. Exciting times, I've got to say. Wait a minute. We can go around on the map forever? I think that's going to change the way we pick our missions, maybe. Exciting doesn't begin to describe it. This is like returning from exile all over again. I'm right there with you, boss, says Yang. It's gonna feel damn good to spread our wings. Speaking of which, shouldn't we go aboard our new ship? There's an absolutely enormous mech bay in there, and it's got my name written all over it. Damn right it does, Yang, says Darius. You all heard him. Take your stations, everyone. We're free agents until Lady Arano calls for us, and there's money to be made. The Argo is not in good shape, says the doc. What's her name? Farah, that's the one. But with time, money, and some of Chief Vertanen's technical resources, we can address most of the major problems. Maybe even make this place nice again. I'll be in engineering if you want to know more. Lady Arano said that she wanted us to get stronger. With these mech facilities, we finally have the resources to do that. Bring me scrapped mechs from mission and shops, and I'll rebuild them into fighting machines. And remember, boss, when it comes to mechs, bigger is usually better. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it very much is. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna need to do some mech repairs before our next contract, boss. Can't go into combat like this. See me in the mech bay when you're ready. I know. Oh, yeah. It looks fatter than I thought it was. Or maybe it's perspective. I don't think it is perspective. Unless this is like a very... No, it can't be perspective. Can it? I don't think it can. Yeah. And he's got a thing over here. Probably living quarters. You know, for the rotation. Although at that speed, it's not going to create too much G anyway. It might not need to create too much G. I don't know. So we got some mechs. How many? Oh my god, we have more things, I think. Engineering. That's right, we have engineering now. How about the base? How many? Oh, we don't have the second one. Okay, let's repair things. 8 days to repair. My god. Well, yeah, repair all the things. I mean, yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Okay, engineering. That's Farah.
To engineering, Commander.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
And now we have Argo over here. We have the hiring hall, and we have the store. Now, I think we looked at the store already. We got a laser over here for extra damage. Oh, I like that. Large laser. Unfortunately, it is the large laser, which is very, very heavy. Very, very heavy. Tonnage of 5. Because the medium lasers, if I'm not mistaken, tonnage of 1. And they do half the damage. Shut up, I don't know what you're talking about. They don't even do half the damage, they do 25 rather. Yeah, it's not good enough. Of course, the range is good because it's maximum of 450. So that's really nice. But, you know. Yeah, I don't think the large lasers are good to have. Long range missile 20. With extra critical chance. No, stability damage, extra stability. Oh my god, this is the best thing ever. Bye.
New weapon systems available.
I know. I know. We got some extra damage over here. This is actually pretty decent. Pretty cheap as well. For melee mechs, this is the stuff. We got some jump jets. We have plenty of jump jets. I think everything is good here. And of course, we can also go for mechs, but there's nothing to buy. And, yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's look at the contracts. I don't think we're going to have contracts in this world, will we? We will, actually. Frontier Justice. What kind of mission? Assassinate. Defeating any other units is not required to complete the contract. Fast-moving sniper mechs to strike the target and escape. That's kind of my jam right there. Maximum salvage, very little. Which probably means that it's just very, very hard mechs. I kind of want to go there. Let's look at our tasks over here. So, you come down here. And you come down here. And we have these guys waiting. So I have 7 days and 8 days. So we have 15 days of waiting until these are ready. Which sucks. That said, in terms of people who are out. Soda Pop is out, and we're gonna get Medusa and Glitch back, so that's pretty good. Let's look at our barracks here. I think we have 3 people ready. Yeah, we have 3 people ready, so we're gonna have to wait anyway. I kind of want to do that mission, though. Let's see, so we... Just wait. Let's go for engineering over here. Did you catch that? Yang, she was asking Yang about, somebody was asking Yang about a huge energy surge in the mech bay, and he probably just shorted out something. Hey.
What's on your mind?
So, Commander, she says, what can I do for you? Yeah, patching up the Argo must have been an enormous job. How did you do it? Oh, it wasn't just me. I had a team working under me. Over 200 of Learaton's most accomplished engineers, electricians, and shipwrights. It was really pretty amazing, I've got to say. Shouting through a megaphone at a team of hundreds, watching them hang on every word. Oh, hang on my every word? Yeah. How much did Lady Arano pay for all that? Oh, it wasn't Lady Arano. The payments came directly from House Centrella. That was a figure of speech. They were indirect payments, of course, routed through countless intermediaries to obscure where the money was coming from. But yeah, the Centrella paid for it. Centrella's. Now, as to how much the Centrella's paid, I honestly have no idea. I'm sure the figure was astronomical, but still cheaper than getting dragged into an unwanted war, eh? If this ship turns out to be as important as Lady Arano thinks it will, then it was money well spent. Had you ever managed a team that big before?
There are personnel working outside the ship. Do not rotate, radiate, or energize any external electronic equipment.
That was pretty cool. Never in my wildest dreams, she says. Prior to my time at the Learaton shipyard, the biggest team I'd ever managed was the crew I had with me on Axilus, and they all got killed. This job went a lot better than that one did, by the way. Only 3 deaths across the entire project, and before you ask, none of them was my fault. There was an accident with one of the industrial cranes, and, well, it was horrible. I pray for their souls. Well, it's good to know that my ship isn't built on the blood, the unnecessary blood of people. That's always good to know. That went off the rails in a pretty big way, didn't it? She says. Sorry about that. I guess I'm still in a little bit of a shock from our time on Axilus. I'm having a hard time getting what I saw there out of my mind. But that's neither here nor there. We were talking about the ship. Is there something else you'd like to know? Nah, let's talk about something else. I had some questions about this ship, actually. Apparently, I want to know about the ship. Yes, Commander, of course. Ask me whatever you'd like. What can you tell me about the Argo? A fair amount, Commander. I've been researching this ship for several months. Boeing Interstellar produced just 2 of these beauties back in 2762. They were intended to follow behind the first wave of explanatory missions, supporting multiple surveyor, terraformer, and colonizer teams on deep survey missions. Although she's far too large to land on a planet, her docking collar...
I need an emergency cleanup crew at the half-pod tube barracks. Bring mops, ammonia, and a cartload of rags.
Cardboard press? Anyway, didn't quite get that. Her docking collar, she says, system allows for smaller dropships like your Leopard to come along for the ride. The Argo is a mobile space station in a sense, providing supply and temporary habitation for teams on dangerous missions in unsettled space. Wait a minute, so she's too large to land on a planet, which actually in real terms she wouldn't be, because I get what the writer was trying to say over here, but that's assuming you have a planet that has the normal atmosphere and the normal gravity of Earth. But like you can land whatever ship on a planet if it doesn't have an atmosphere. You're not gonna have a problem with the attrition of air or the atmosphere, so you're not gonna have a problem with aerodynamics. And the gravity, if it's slow enough, you might even have enough, jets or whatever to slow the landing or control the landing. So this here, my point here is that it was landed on a planet when we found it and we lifted off. So how exactly does he not land on a planet? I get what you mean, but how exactly does that happen? But yeah, another thing might be as well that the planets that are inhabited are all Earth-sized planets and sort of around the Earth size and around the same gravity, so it might just be too heavy to be supported with its normal jets that control the landing, so it just crash land if you land it. Still, the atmosphere wouldn't be a problem because there's a lot of planets that don't have an atmosphere in this game and in this setting. So, okay, yeah, exploration vessel or no, she sounds ideal for our purpose. Yeah, she is. And with 57,000 tons of cargo space, she has all the room we need for supplies, spare equipment, personnel, you name it. In fact, her hold is so vast, we'll have no trouble storing as many mech chassis and partial mech salvage as you can get your hands on. 67,000 tons. Am I mistaken? Or is that almost the power of the Jupiter 5, Saturn 5, sorry, not Jupiter 5, Saturn 5 engines that took... No, that was feet. That was like 75 pound-feet. I think it's pound-feet. It's a different thing. Yeah, I don't know. That's very heavy, though. But still, you know, we have proper jets and all that sort of stuff. Why don't we see more ships like the Argo out here? Now, the Argo is the product of her era. She lacks the armor or maneuverability to function in battle, and she's vastly outclassed in size and firepower by even the smallest warships. She's a peacetime ship meant for peacetime exploration duties, and planned with a focus on long-term orbital deployment. It was her non-combat design that ultimately led her to abandonment. Yeah, makes sense. In an earlier era, she might have seen widespread usage, but the fall of the Star League and the near-constant state of war we've endured since then has rendered the Argo little more than a forgotten experimental footnote in the history of dropship production. Sad, really, in her own way. The Argo represents the back seat that science and exploration have taken in pursuit of military goals. Though, I see what you mean, but I think military goals would get science and exploration going pretty well. Let's talk about something else. How can the Argo be improved? From her current state? Absolutely. What did I ask? I asked how, right? From her current state, she asks, absolutely. In the Star League days, this ship was state-of-the-art. Now she's a shell of her former glory. With time and sea bills, though, there are plenty of ways I can upgrade her. It's about increasing efficiency. As your executive officer Darius is so fond of saying, time is money. It says that a lot, you know. Yeah, it is. It really is. And very much so in terms of gameplay mechanics. Tell me about the systems and support upgrades. Systems and support upgrades are fundamental to returning the Argo to her former glory. They're foundational. I can do some basic upgrades to improve performance in a few areas, but without improvements to systems and support, you're limited in how far you can go with upgrades. In addition to the foundational upgrades she requires, I can also upgrade the Argo's drive system to improve her travel speed, and with some work I can bring more of her habitat pods back online, so I can hire on more MechWarriors and have a place for them to bunk. Okay, what about combat and deployment upgrades? They come in 3 flavors. Those that increase our mech bay capacity, those that improve mech repair and refit speed, and those that intensify mech warrior training. Which is probably what I'm gonna go with early on, maybe. I do want mech repairs and refit speed. I want those two. We will see. Increasing mech bay capacity means more battle mechs ready for immediate deployment. It takes time and C-bills to pull mech chassis out of storage and refit them when with weapons and equipment. More mech bay capacity means less downtime. If your lens gets banged up on a mission and needs weeks of repair time, you won't be able to take another contract unless you have mechs in reserve. Improving your repair and refit speeds gets you battle mechs out of the mech bay and back on the field where they can be earning us money. Indeed, that's exactly how it goes. Finally, adding and upgrading mech warrior training simulators will allow your mech warriors to improve their skills and abilities during the inevitable downtime of interstellar space travel. Oh, that's quite amazing. Do they just gain experience normally over time? That's almost as good as gaining more experience. No, that might be better than gaining more experience when in battle. What about personnel and medical upgrades? Just like battle mechs, your mech warriors will need to be patched up from time to time. Upgrading your Argo's medical facilities means getting your people back to work quicker. There's a display of your mech-based efficiency in medical points on your travel display, under the finances and crew morale readouts. The higher the medical rating, the faster your mech warriors will heal. As for the personnel improvements, well, I'd imagine they're obvious. Mech warriors need to relax and vent coolant between combat drops. If you don't give them a place to do that, they'll find ways to keep themselves entertained, sometimes to the detriment of the rest of the crew, because they'll start singing out of nowhere or something. Upgrading crew conditions on the Argo will have tangible benefits on the battlefield and make life quieter for us on the long voyages. Yes, quieter. That's exactly what the singing was all about. Can I upgrade more than one system at a time? Please say yes. Sorry, Commander. No can do. The rule is one upgrade at a time, and I wrote it for a reason. I'm the only one qualified to oversee this work, and if I spread myself too thin, bad things could happen. Extinction level things. Well, for us, at least. Yeah, I figure. Okay, that's enough, Dr. Murat. Well, that's enough of that. If you're gonna be part of this crew, I want to get a better sense of who you are. Tell me about yourself. Well, I'm an actual doctor, but not the medical kind. I hold 2 doctorates, one in physics, and the other in mechanical engineering. And now, so that explains how the doctor goes. And now I'm hauling around in the Lost Tech wonders with a crew of merry pirates seeking my fortune. It's funny, the places life takes you. Okay, I got the elevator, bitch. Now give me the long version. Yeah, sure, if you like. Let's see, where to begin? Well, I was born on Regulus in the Free Worlds League. My parents were academics, I know, big surprise. And I spent most of my early years bouncing back and forth between their suburban apartment and the Firdausi, my Baba June's leave-in dropship. Your what? Who was this Baba June? My grandfather. He'd carried out a nice little business for himself, running a taxi service for pilgrims traveling to and from Dar es Salaam. As much as my father frowned on Baba June's old-fashioned lifestyle and beliefs, he wasn't blind to how much I loved the old man, and so he occasionally consented to let me board the Firdausi and go along for the ride. I will always cherish my memories of those voyages, the warmth behind Baba June's smile, the excitement of leaving Regulus behind, chatting with the pilgrims and getting lost in the stars and eating pre-packaged fasenjan out of a shiny tin. Those times are all crystal clear in my memory, as if they happened yesterday. Oh, how I miss that wonderful man. I misread the O. This may seem silly coming from a mercenary engineer, but I've come to think of the life I've chosen as a way of honoring my Baba June by carving my own path among the stars. I'm doing what I can to keep his memory alive. Sounds trite, I'm sure, but sue me. That's what I've chosen to believe. Sure, I'll sue you. What about after you left your home? Where did you study? I actually spent a little time in the Lyran Commonwealth before I pursued my studies. Long story that, but suffice it to say that it was its own kind of learning experiences. When I did decide to get a higher education, I wound up back in the Free World League. I did my undergrad studies at the University of Atreus, then went on to Slan University in the Capellan Confederation to earn my doctorates. For a top 3 school with a Maskidovka screened admissions process, Shan University, that's the one, Xi'an University, was surprisingly open to transfer students. Anyway, I could go on and on for hours about my academic career, and you'd probably smile and nod as I rambled, but yeah, come on, I mean, this can't be interesting for you, can it? You're a mercenary, you stomp around in a giant robot for a living. The closest I got to adventure back then was my dissertation defense. I would like to hear about that, if it was an adventure at all. Yeah, I guess that's enough. Let me ask you about something else. I think, actually, no. Have you always wanted to be a shipboard engineer? No, not always. When I was 15, I wanted to be a statistician. You know, a nice, quiet life alone in the ivory tower. That was what my personal dropship was doing. Was going to be called, preparing mathematical models and studying survey results. So yeah, you know, every girl's dream. Actually, in a world of AI, which is not this one, but it might be ours in a few decades, in a world of AI, statisticians might be the be-all, end-all, because the brunt of the work, the brunt of data processing anyway, is always going to be done by AI. It's already being done by AI these days, but the problem is pattern recognition is very bad. It's very hard for computers, and it's always going to be very hard, so figuring out how to get computers to do that is going to be the job of data analysts and statisticians, which is basically a data analyst, really. So I guess didn't you ever want to do anything more, I don't know, exciting? Like being a MechWarrior? Nah. Much as I love the idea of stomping around in a giant robot, I'm not a huge on-the-wall murdering people with lasers thing. It doesn't really square with my personal beliefs. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to work with MechWarriors. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here, but the actual firing of weapons, nah, it isn't for me. Yeah, still seem pretty enthusiastic about it. Why didn't you follow through? Well, interests change. I mean... Oh, and that question I think was about the statistician thing. Interests change, she says. I mean, I still like statistics, but it's really more of a hobby now. Is that weird? People have told me it's weird. I don't know. Plotting graphs and forecasting future events calms me. It's like my own little way of using math to bring order from chaos. And besides, everybody needs a hobby. I know for a fact that Darius crochets. Does he? I'm gonna order myself something then. Unless he doesn't take orders. Maybe I can, like drop a line and say, hey, I saw this crocheted... I don't know, what would I want crocheted? I don't know, a scarf or something. It was really cool and all colorful and things. And they say, okay, well, birthday gift, noted down. Unless he's not one of those people that notes down birthday gifts. In which case, he's one like me. Anyway, so what made you want to get into engineering? Uncle Heiner's Experiment World. Live-action STEM edutainment program from the Lyran Commonwealth. It started airing just after my 19th birthday. You may have seen it. It ran for 3 seasons before it was cancelled. The host was a tattooed, chain-smoking nihilist who taught children the magic of chemistry. You know, making thermite with aluminum. Interesting. I thought... Wait a minute. Is Hairbrained Studios not Canadian? Oh, I guess Canadians say aluminum as well. But then again, I don't know if they are or not. But it is aluminum. I thought she was going to say aluminium. Anyway. I mean, she's an engineer after all. She should know. But anyway, making thermite with aluminum cans and a belt sander. That kind of thing. Oh boy. That's... I mean, this is not really that much of a... Yeah, I remember. You like that guy? Probably not. Did she? I married him. Oh my god, did you? That's kind of... You should have started with that. Long story. But the important bit is, in the 6 months before the annulment, I learned that I had a... Oh, annulment? It's not even a divorce? Isn't an annulment like... we don't... I just pretend that this didn't happen or something. I don't know. I learned that I had a real talent with machines. When Heiner blew out a power relay or took a tire iron to the bandsaw, I was the one who would put it back together again. I found a great deal of peace in that. From there, it was just a matter of getting into the right schools and following my bliss. So that's what I did, and well, here I am. And it turned out alright for me, all things considered. Okay, can we discuss something work-related? Of course, Commander. I'm always happy to talk shop. Well, I guess we have talked shop enough. We're way out of time for the day. So, talk to you later, Doc.
Don't be a stranger, Commander.
I won't. Especially because we're gonna need to look at ship upgrades. But for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been BattleTech. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.